I didn't get the memo where everyone's wearing black. I feel like I'm out of it wearing gray.
For sure.
No, you're the superstar. You can't be
Yeah,
the same as
okay.
us.
Here we
Didn't
go.
didn't I talk to you about this already?
Should
Told
roll
you so many
Ferraris, though.
times. I don't know how many times I gotta go through this with you. Hey guys, welcome to Conquest Live. Welcome to another Monday live stream. We're joined by greatness today. MP Slot Car Space is in the house. Marty and George. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. I think everyone's done some really cool and exciting stuff this week, or this past week, I'd say. I always say this week, but what I mean is the last week since we've talked to each other. So on the live stream, that is, we talk to each other a lot. Yeah. So Easter came by. Everybody had a good Easter, I hope. I know Massimo was preparing some lamb. So how was that, Mass? How was your
You know
chef
what?
days?
It came out all right. I'm pats on back.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's great. That's great. What about Marty? How was the family? Everything was good.
Everything was good. My wife headed out to visit my kids, so I was by myself. So I hosted a race here at my house on the layout and had a great time, and broke a few cars and tuned a few cars, and it was good. Good time.
The flounder.
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 Remember from the movie? Flounder.
Yep.
Call that the animal
Great
house.
video. Great video today, Marty. By the way.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I wasn't sure what I needed to put some content out and wasn't sure, and I hit record, and that's what came out.
That's how you do it.
was-
See, everybody?
Yep.
That's
right.
great content
Stick
with
to the
that.
board
Out
button.
of the fly with a fly car.
That's
There
right.
you go. I see Marty's been buying a lot more cars recently. Haven't you noticed that, George? There was a time
Yeah.
there when Marty would go like weeks on end without a car. Now it's like every week there's a new car arriving. Have you
Your wife's
noticed?
gonna come back from Colorado and see like a whole warehouse and go, where'd all this come from?
Marty, it's the bug. A bug has caught Marty.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's done.
See, I've
You
only
see?
purchased 3 cars in the last month.
Yeah, in the last month, Marty.
Three.
That would have never happened in a couple of months
But here's
ago.
the kicker: you bought a fly car and found out how fun it is to tune an awful car. That's
That is
fun.
the truth,
You had a
man.
good time.
It looks great, and it's just a POS when you open it up. And but man, it was
Bubblegum
like
ears.
honestly. Oh yeah, I don't know how long this thing will last, but I'm having a fun throwing it around the track. It's running pretty good.
That's what made them so unique. The bodies were beautiful. That's why people bought them. But in the presentations, so Harry's got quite a few presentations when he showed me. There's booklets in them that explains about the driver photos, the way they presented it when you open the box. It didn't come in a little case. Some came in a box that looked so beautiful, but the chassis and everything were just trash. But people still bought them and made them work. And I mean, that's why he has all those articles.
Yeah.
They're still fun to mess with to try and get them work. And I had fun with my
It's a
917.
it's a challenge. Yeah, I was gonna say it's a challenge, but if you get it running good, they're fun. I think they would be fun as a class together. You know, it's not going to keep up the Revo slot or an NSR or anything like that. Just the chassis doesn't work well enough, but you can get them running pretty good.
I haven't tried a fly, but it sounds like they're similar to the Le Mans miniatures. That they just look really nice presentation, but they're not that great on track.
Yeah, Le Mans miniatures are really expensive, and they're just something you really put on the shelf. They're really
They
beautiful
really have
cars.
good shelf clean.
The models are gorgeous.
I agree with the fingers on this one, Marty. You need to get this tattoo on you. It says, it happens. It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of
So-
guys in the chat. So, Gene, welcome. Robert Hill, welcome. The fingers, as usual. You're like always there, the fingers. Dick, Slocker Garage, Slot Journal.
Cyber.
We have Shotgun Dave, Slot Journal there. Welcome, guys. Yves. By the way, Yves Mayer is one of the guys that is involved in the commercial track that we put together last Friday. So, welcome, Yves.
Nice.
He's like the supplier to all the Mini Z stuff. So, heard Heavy Hitters, Cyberg, Gladstone Gander, Sunday Slot Cars in the house. Mass really stands out when. There you go. Mass really stands out wearing white. What a rebel. It must be a Canadian thing. We notice colors, I guess.
I could go change.
Go change now.
There's no Ferrari livery, man.
Yeah.
I could get a card packet.
Yeah. Well,
George, did you have to work all weekend?
I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So yeah, basically. Okay. And then Sunday, I had Sunday off. All my family came over and we played that Cards for Humanity. That game's really funny. The family edition. I never seen my grandson so hard. He was laughing so hard. I never seen that side, but it was great. He really was having a good time. So,
yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, let's go through what everyone's done in the last week. George, we'll start with you. You just completed the wood track, or almost completed. You just have a couple of things left, but take us through that experience.
I have to do a video still on what my mistake I made. So when I did route at the track, I used the jig to do the curves. So that is like the depth of 8 millimeters is what you want. That's perfect for the commercial slot or any slot itself to go in there. So I did the corners and I went to go do the straight. I didn't do this live on camera. The live on camera was the correct way to depth. So what I did was I caught the router and like a dummy, I should have tested the depth, which I was told, hey, test your depth. I didn't do that. I went and started and I was like, something wrong here. And then I kept going a little bit. And then I realized that I had gotten too deep because I didn't compensate for the extra 4 millimeters that the plastic I had it on, which was the jig, the plexiglass. I didn't compensate for that and you readjust it. So instead of going the 8 millimeters, it went 11. So it went almost just about through the MDF. That's pretty much game over. The MDF is no good. So I wasted 3 pieces of MDF. MDF is $47 a piece. That's about a $150 mistake. So Frank from New York, a lot of people think he drove from New York, but Frank's here in North Carolina. He's from Long Island, New York. So he's got that New York accent, real good guy. And I called him the same day, and go, hey, Frank, do you know if you could come over tomorrow? I'll get some more MDF. I told him what I did. He says, yeah, sure, because he's got a pickup truck. And he came down the next day, and he helped me out, got some MDF, and I had to kind of reset everything, put everything up, get it recut, and then he was a real big help. That's why when he came over today, I wanted him to come over first because he's being a big part of getting the track together. Right. So I routed it correctly. I did the gain correctly, which was easy. Laying the braid was very easy. It's a 3M type of braid. So you just lay it over the gain and you just pat it down. You don't stretch it. A lot of people tend to try and stretch it, but you don't want to stretch the braid. Really excellent braid. The gain was done, I think, 0.70 millimeters so that it would be flush with the surface of the wood track itself, and that worked out really great. After I painted it, because you paint the little lanes, the slot, the colors. So that's yellow, red, blue, and green, which is a standard for usually for a lot of regular slot car tracks, not commercial tracks, but like small tracks. But you could paint them any color you want if you wanted to. And did that, and the wiring for the track. I did a video for the wiring in the track. I did it for Slot Car Corner because they have a 4-lane kit and a 2-lane kit. They do it also for plastic tracks if you guys are interested in doing it for your plastic tracks. And I saw the thing online where they had, and it was a pretty old one. Steve Saltel had done it. He did it in 2005. And I kind of, called him up and asked him, hey, would it be okay if I did a video? Because this is pretty old and there's a lot of reading. I think a lot of people understand more of a video tutorial than actually reading. It just depends on the type of person who's good at. I read the stuff and understood it, but it was kind of like some questions were there, and he knew I was going to wire my track, and he gave me a call and he told me, so here, I'm just going to give you a breakdown on what to do. And he gave me like about a 20-minute conversation. We went through what to do, and I went ahead and did it, and it was the most easiest thing to do out of the whole build was wiring the track. And the way he has that set up, so there's templates, and each of the templates tells you the terminal blocks, where things go. They're all marked. They're real beautiful. The terminal blocks are super heavy duty. They're not like this cheap Radio Shack stuff. They're really robust, really well thought out. It's just an awesome system, and it took me about 2 hours, and I had power to the track. But I had done one lane at a time, as he explained. We do one lane at a time. So if you have a mistake, you could just isolate one and not hook them all up, and then turn it on, and then not know what's going on. But it's really foolproof. Anybody could install it. You don't need to be an electrical engineer or a soldering guru. You could just use mechanical crimps are fine. You could solder if you want, but you don't have to. I use mechanical crimps, and I explained that in the video. And that video will come out after I'm doing the third part of it. So, but it was really easy to wire up, hook the controllers up. It was fun, and we had Frank over. We did a 4-hour live. I just let the thing kept going, because I started it at noon. I think we ended it at 4, and Frank brought all his cars. He brought in one of his cars that he uses for racing here in Archdale Speedway, which is a commercial track. It's a little blue Thunderbird, and he had some modifieds and some other cars that he needed, help with, like he needed tires and truing, and I did that for him. So it was a lot of fun. So we had a good time.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, your truck looks really good, man. Like
Does.
it looks so pristine right now, but I know you want to wear it in, so
Yeah, it's starting to wear my tires, and it's good. I still had to put like the guardrail. I still had to put like the fencing up. That still has to be done. I put the table. I don't know if you saw it on live. I put the table where I'm going to have driver stations so that you could clean the tires and sand if you want to, and they're going to have individual power supplies. Those are little cheap power supplies that I did a video on, that Harry did also on from Amazon. They're only like $14. So I'll have that all set up sooner or later, and I have the extra MDF where I could cut blocks out to make a individual block to do stuff. So this way people could clean their tires there. And I'm going to have the 3-post connectors instead of hardwiring it, because if somebody wants to bring their controller over, they could go over and hook them up. So I'll be doing a video on how to hook those up, which are really easy too. So it's a lot of things that are coming along.
George, if you measure out that back MDF board, give me the dimensions. I'll create a sticker for you and send it over when I ship your stuff.
Okay, yeah. The one on. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
which one?
I can do a full graphic for you, and then you can stick it down. Like it can just be a sticker sheet that you stick on.
Yeah, I can still paint that though, right? Because you're gonna need paint to apply the decal, correct?
I think it just sticks. These are vinyl stickers. They stick on auto. They're really good, so should be no problem.
Okay.
We use them at our track, so.
Yeah, thanks for changing the name. I looked. Harry had made something similar, and he called it Speedway, which would make some more sense to separate the two, because you have Raceway, Area 51, and then just Hangar 1 Speedway would probably be better to distinguish the two.
Yeah, no worries. It's easy. Yeah, if you need large format stuff too, I can print that. It's just harder to ship because I have to ship in tubes.
Yeah,
but if you need any banners or anything, let me know. We have a large
well,
format too.
I look forward to the store, so that'd be cool, because I definitely want to get things from that. That's something I'm excited about.
Cool. Well, great job on the track this last week, and was it 4 weeks from the concept to now?
Well, the concept was when I left Home Racing World, but when I got here to the house and finally, set up this track and finally decided to do it, 4 weeks. The table went up quick. I think if I didn't screw up on the MDF, it moved a little bit sooner. Yeah. But in 4 weeks, I got the track up, and I was just steadily just doing things, in stages. So I didn't get too crazy. I think I got ahead of myself with routing. I got too over eager, and that's what happens. You go a little bit too fast, and you make a mistake, and that was a lesson to be learned. So at least I'll pass it on to somebody else. Don't do that. Like I said, the wiring is a lot easier than the other stuff.
And no, great job, man. Like, and that was fast. I thought it was really quick. So well done. Marty, how was your week?
I already filled you in. I raced on Saturday.
You raced, yeah. You filled us in, but the whole
Tell us about the
chat
flounder.
wants to know. Come on, Marty, don't be so coy.
So, well, we had a few people over. We probably tested like 60 cars on my track over about 4 hours. But we ran 3 classes. We ran Revo slots. We ran Group C and vintage cars. So I didn't do so well. My Hexcel Group C car, which was flying, right off the bat, I broke the chassis.
Oh no!
So I kind of had to race through that. Yeah. So now I've got to repair that.
Where did it break at?
Right up on the front end. I don't have it open right now. I'd show you, but yeah, and it every time you would hit the throttle, it would basically twist out of the slot. And anytime you were coming out of a turn, it was pretty challenging, but it still had a great time. But that's when I tore open the fly car because I got it that because Daryl came up and he brought me my order from Cincy Slots, and I picked it up from Bruce. And I tore it open and tore apart, and by the time I was done, we had tuned and running lap track, and it was a good time. Yeah, it was a really good time.
Yeah, time for you to get another 962, so you can have another chassis.
Well,
or you can just get a new chassis.
Yeah, I got a new chassis coming in Daryl's order.
Yeah.
I think he felt bad that it broke, but
was he driving?
It's why you should probably have 2. No,
no, okay.
I was driving it.
He felt bad.
I think that's why you should have a spare car for a class. If you're racing in a club, if you show up with one car and something happens, then you kind of got to race through it. And I only have one Group C car, so I just kind of had to tough it out. But it's probably good to have a backup of each class that you're running.
Journal.
Note to self: do not let Marty borrow any of my good cars.
Well, here's the thing: I didn't. It broke, but I didn't wreck the car. It just all of a sudden it just started. Yeah, I went around a turn and something snapped, and I noticed
that shouldn't have done that.
Acting funny.
Maybe you should call or at least see if the manufacturer could, because that sounds like if you didn't wreck it broke. That sounds a little bit kind of. Usually they don't break like that. That's odd.
I know it's in a weird place. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you guys. But I mean, it's like $8, so it's not.
Well, really funny thing. When I bought my first Scale Auto Viper, I had to buy it from Barcelona because nobody was carrying Scale Auto when I looked for it, and I ordered 2, and one of them came with a cracked chassis, like straight out of the box. And there's no way I could go back to them and say, hey, you got cracked. It cost me double the price of the car because shipping and handling and everything. So I was paying like double for both cars shipped in. Plus, I think after I paid the import fees, it was even more. But I wanted those Vipers. So when I took it, and I was so proud, I took it over to Ernie's, and Ernie's like pulled it out and was like, let me see what's so different. And it wasn't the new R chassis, it was the older one. And Ernie was like, these are shit cars, they don't run really well. And he flips it over, it's like, this one's cracked. And I was like, what? So I was like super angry. I was like, oh, I spent so much money on these cars. So Ernie helped me and built a complete new metal chassis for it. But yeah, I know the feeling. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you get manufacturer defects. It's part of it, right? But yeah, that was my first Scale Auto. Yeah, but that's life. But your 962, everyone loved it. I will come back, and we'll see Marty racing that again soon. Mass, how was your week?
week was good. A little bit low key. Track wise, I've started to slowly take it apart, like the third sector. And today was nice, as you know. Today and yesterday, weather wise, so I took a bunch of the track out, started spraying it, parts that weren't painted yet. So I'm trying to get that done, get the whole track painted. I'm gonna fit the new section, make sure everything works, and then build the additional table for it. So that's what I'm working on right now. And other than that, the only other thing I did this week was that track with you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thanks for that help. Yeah, the commercial track, it was weird. When I decided to put the commercial track down, I had no intentions of building a monster track in my basement, right? It was the DDT track. I knew I was going to put a 20x8 track down. And then I got inspired and decided to build this monster track in my basement. So I was like, okay, I have 250 feet of track. I should be fine. But when the commercial track came up, and I was sitting down, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this commercial track. It's coming to light really fast. And I just said, you know what? The only thing I have for this commercial track right now, for sure, from my inventory, is the 2 bank turns. And so I called Sunday. I told Billy, I'm like, Billy, build me a track. I have 2 bank turns right now. I cannot concentrate on building this track. Just put whatever you think I need together in one package and let me know. And Billy came through for me in one night, 24 hours. Billy put together the package, the track. We confirmed that on last Friday. It shipped out on Monday, arrived on Tuesday. I test fitted it on Friday, 2 hours before I installed it. Thanks to George and Marty in the morning for all my, my wiring, just making sure I had everything set up properly.
That was perfect.
It went in perfectly. But it was like a week of hustle just to get ready for Friday. And the MP came and helped me, got on the table and walked around and helped me put up all the borders and stuff. It was really a team effort from my whole team. Even the Conquest Lair guys, everybody was super helpful, and we got it done. And then MP went ahead and broke the track record on Friday. And then I went back on Saturday and beat his track record. And I was like, yeah, with the same car, by the way, MP. So nice. I got down to 5.6. Yeah, so it was fun. When they were racing, they had their Mini Z race on Saturday night, so a couple of the regulars were there. And there seemed to be a little bit of interest. At first, they were like the first reaction is always the same. It's like, isn't this what we used to play with as kids? I'm like, yeah, try it out. And the first hit straight off and hits the barrier, and they're like, oh, you guys make it look very easy. And I'm like, yeah, it looks easy, but there's a lot to it. And then they start to drive, and then they're super slow compared to what we do with the track. So they're like, oh, how do you guys go so fast? And then you start to explain to them, yeah, you accelerate here, you let go here, and you use the momentum from the track to really give yourself some speed. And like, oh, this is super technical. And then on Saturday, I brought over like 8 cars for sale as well, just out of my own collection, because there's no cars there, so many of them were intimidated to actually run cars that don't belong to them. So I took some cars, discounted them, put them there. We'll see what happens. This Friday will be the first time we actually have like a proper race night, stock car race night. So, and we intend to do it every Friday. It's all for free for now. I told Alex, we shouldn't charge for it for the next 3 months. Let's just run the track for free and see what happens. And hopefully it will catch on, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, that's the story. It's been a long week. But we're on to the next project already. Yeah. Sorry, George, what was that?
You got that done really quick. I remember you were trying to put it up. You did it real fast.
Yeah. Yeah, it went together. it went together really fast. Like from the moment we conceptualized it to the moment it went in, yeah, it caught me. It nearly caught me unawares. So once again, all props to Sunday for just coming through for me. Because it's hard to find things in Canada. It's a lot easier for the States. But just to even find 132 sets, pull it all together, find all the 2 and 30 turns. It's not easy, and Sunday is a big part of making this hobby grow up here, I feel. Panther. I went down to Panther on Saturday as well, which is the other hobby store that carries a lot of Carrera stuff. And I guess this Big Boys with Cool Toys is the third one that I know. Mass, have you ever been there?
Yeah, I like them. They have an okay selection. They're always a little bit more expensive than
Yeah.
Panthers and Sunday. Like Panthers and Sunday price point are very similar. It's just Billy helps us out a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went down to Panther on Saturday and bought 2 124 scale cars because I had to complete the collection, right? I had the GT3 lineup, so I had like the Corvette, I had the Ford GT, I have the old school 911 GT3. I was like, no, I need a Ferrari in there and I need an Audi in there. So I bought the Ferrari and the Audi just to kind of have a nice complete lineup. Not that I know what I'm doing in 124 at all, but another thing that really was interesting was I've been racing non-digital for so long that I forgot like lane changing is you have to really practice it because I've been racing analog for so long. I think lane changing was but now that I drove like hours on Friday, hours on Saturday. So now I got my lane changing down because like a couple of weeks ago when we went to Dave Mass and we were running the 124, I couldn't remember how to lane change. I was like struggling, like you were saying, oh, change. And I was like, I don't remember. Like it wasn't as natural, but now it's a lot faster. So like these are all things that this subsects in the slot car world, and it was interesting explaining to RC guys how this digital is very different from analog. And these cars, like I kept on saying to them, because they're very used to modifying cars, and they turned the car over and they said, oh, it's very simple. I said, yeah, this car is simple. These are what we call entry-level slot cars. But I said you can take them up to so many levels, right? You can really take it up. So it's interesting to explain it in terms of hobbyists that are used to modifying cars, because you see them tearing apart their chassis, putting them together, and explain to them that this is a baseline level, but it's mainly about the realism of the racing. And that's really what got them: the pit stops, the penalties, fueling. It was all new for them, and they thought that was really cool. So it was interesting. It's a very interesting experience putting up a commercial track and actually explaining to people. We do it naturally because we're into it, but when you see new people come to the hobby, you tend to understand the value of your hobby more, because you have to explain it to them, and you have to show the passion. Because if you don't have passion for it, you can't get the passion from them. So it's really important. Like you really become an ambassador for the hobby when you put down a commercial track, I think. Because in your basement, in your own home, it's easier. You're in your own element. But when you're out there, like there's so many questions that come at you that you never really think about, and you have to be ready to answer and carry it well, or you feel that you have to. So it's been pretty interesting so far.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that was my week.
There's just so much. There's so much opportunity there, Raul, to really expand the slot cars there in your own area. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, for sure. And digital is very different. There's nobody else that I know that's running a commercial digital track. To my knowledge, even in Toronto, and Toronto is a pretty big city. Maybe in their basements and the underground, like Dave, and there's all these subsects. But open commercial racing, where anyone can step in and run. I haven't seen that before. So it should be, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, 3 months is a good test run. We'll see how it catches on. They have regular meetings Fridays and Saturdays. The track is very impressive to look at when you walk into the store. Like it's definitely attention grabber. I mean, the Mini Z track is right next to them, right next to the slot car track, but it's the slot car track that kind of captures attention, right?
I mean, yeah, the first impressions seemed pretty good, so I'm hopeful.
Yeah, Sunday, I hear you. I find more people show up for high price rentals than free rentals. I think they just feel with free rentals, they can wait till next time. Very different crowd though. Sunday, these guys are racers. They're there for hours. They're not just walking through. It's like they come in with their pit. Oh, you should have seen the pit boxes. We think we have pit boxes. The Mini Z pit boxes are nuts. Like, I saw this guy open up his pit box and it almost covered the whole 6-foot table, like the way it opened up, and it was like a big wall. And all these cars are in there, and we've seen the slot car pit boxes. And they're kind of small compared to like the Mini Z ones. Oh, I was like, holy crap. But yeah, they were rolling in like. When the RC racers come in, they roll in with their big cases, their big rolling cases, and they all just open up into these massive like walls, and they're all sitting behind there with their lights and their soldering irons and everything is going. It's pretty crazy. It's interesting.
That hobby is really, you've done it, Marty. It's pretty big. So Harry does rock crawling. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. He has a couple of courses at his place, and I played with some of the guards. They're a lot of fun, but they'll put lights and stuff and go out in the water, in a creek at night. This is pretty interesting,
They say
aspects of it,
Yeah, so this club does everything. Because during the winter months they don't go walk their RCs. They call it, we're gonna go walk our RCs, because what it is a 1/10 scale rock crawling, and they take them for walks. So basically they take them into wild terrain and they just run them and they walk for hours. It's a pretty healthy way to get, kind of fit. It's almost a cool thing to do. So I've been invited to do that with them. So I look forward to that. They do have the Mini Z rock crawl, rock crawling setup at the store. They have like a little track we can climb with Mini Zs. But yeah, they have everything. They have a drift track. They have they have everything at this location. So there's a lot of draw, and the slot car just fits in. So the crowd is obviously it's more knowledgeable. They understand cars. They understand the racing. They understand how bracketing works and everything. So it's not. It's just a concept. So they don't like the thumb controllers. That was natural. They're all used to the triggers. So they were all holding the thumb controller like a trigger, some of them, and trying to race. And they couldn't change lanes because it's harder because they can't use their thumb. They were missing the pits. So it was pretty interesting. So yeah, you can see already some of them adapted pretty well to it. Others struggled a lot and gave up. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun, but it's nice to have this kind of experience. Now
you need to carry True Speed or Ramjet.
Yeah. So I looked at the True Speed controllers. They're about $100 each shipped in from the UK. But they're weird too. They have brakes on them, right? The True Speed controller has a brake button. So
some do. The new model has a brake button, but they're nice. I have two on my track.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'll probably order 4 because I'm only going to run 4 cars at all times on the track. Just because even their Mini Z, they run in heats of 4. Because their Mini Z lane is not as wide, so they used to, when they run 4, there's 4 racers sitting around, so they can run a race on the slot car side, so it's pretty cool. They were jumping back and forth. One guy just took the controller with him, and as he was racing his mini Z, he had the controller, and he was just pressing it at constant speed. Yeah, it was just weird. They were doing weird stuff. It was interesting, though. Yeah.
I found the crossover funny because they were saying, "Oh, this is hard. This is hard." Then I went to go try the mini Z's, and that was hard.
Yeah.
That was hard, man.
Yeah, I said when I was testing, I took my mini Z's on Saturday because I haven't driven them in forever, and I have mine as stock. So I took it and I put it on track, and I think I must have hit every corner there was ever on that track because I must have banged up everything. It was, but like they make it look so easy. There's this young kid, he's around 14. Like his reflexes on Mini Z is insane. Like, he's like super quick, and he can tech his own car. So he was like, he was pretty cool guy. Like young guy, really, really knowledgeable in this Mini Z stuff. But he was into slot cars. He wanted, they used to have a lot of slot cars and they sold them. So he bought me, it was funny, I had gone to Panther before and I saw this 124, a limited edition Corvette, the one with the checkered pattern, like the test car. And it's like $300 or $200 here or whatever it is. And he bought that. He took it out of his box. It was banged up so bad. It was completely wrecked. I was like, oh, this is a $200 car I saw today. And here it is. It had the wrong tires on it. It was all bowed. And I was like, I can't do anything. The digital chip was fried. I was like, I can't do anything with this car. But, it was hilarious. But you can see that those guys are ready to race. They're ready to bang up cars. So it'd be interesting. Anyway, yeah, so that was my week. Anybody else have anything to add for their week? Nope.
I'm good.
All right, so we're going to get into this crazy topic. I've been trying to bring it up for a couple of, I think, months now. But yeah, so let's talk about a global racing league and what it is and what can be done. So how does this come into play? And really, this is a concept that I've been spinning my wheels around. One thing that I noticed with the slot car world is inconsistency. Whether you look at Marty's track, you look at my track, you look at MP's track, we all have inconsistencies because our tracks are completely different. It's very hard to race one track with one car and go to another track and have consistency because everything's different. And that's very different in other hobbies. Like if you go to, even when you go to RC world, like the track is, there's different tracks, but the cars run the same on all the tracks, like because of the substrate and the way they run and the setups. The only thing you got to adjust is trim, throttle response. But let's take it even further. If you go to wargaming world, the only way we can play competitive wargaming is by standardization. So one thing that I've been thinking about is how do we standardize? In today's world, with the amount of tech that we have, with YouTube being what it is, I've been spinning my wheels and saying, why don't we set up a global racing league? Because we always talk about racing each other, but we technically can. And so how does it actually work? Well, one is standardizing the track. So Global Racing League is a league where everyone has a global inventory. And that inventory could be as simple as buying one starter box in Carrera Digital, which is, I think, majority of us have. So I'm going to start Carrera Digital. I'm going to probably get a lot of flack for this, but Carrera Digital is the choice that I would, because from our end, that's easiest to get as well. And it's got a good selection of standardized track. So you'd buy one standardized track that will give you like 22 straights and let's just say 12 1 in 60 turns, out of which you build your track, and that is the first global racetrack. Then everybody picks a car from the same category or class in the global league, and you race it. The only thing is you're allowed 1 week to complete your lap, and you have to do it on a live stream. So you record your times on live stream, and you submit that through a web portal that I will build, where you give us the name of your car. You have to keep it as we'll obviously have a governing body that will standardize what the car would run, like what classes we're running, whether it's box stock only or box stock with tires, or we have to figure that out. And then you run your track on a live stream, submit that live stream to us via the web portal, and we put it into a league, and we run a racing league, and we can either increase the global inventory track by X amount over X amount of time. So if you want to add 2 and 30 turns, would wait for 3 months and then add 2 and 30 turns to that mix. So it gives people time to add their track at a decent pace. And we call this in wargaming, we call it escalation, because everyone can start with a one battle box and then escalate by adding more things to that battle box. And over time, you build a substantial track where you can create, complex layouts or different layouts. But that's the idea. That's what I wanted to do. That's something I've been kicking around. And I think it would be a good way to get the hobby going on a global level, because everyone would be on a standardized system. But yeah, that was the concept. So you guys can go away and blast me now.
Oh.
How dare you choose Carrera Digital as the track?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's I was trying to make it simple. So, yeah. So that's my concept. I mean, all it does, it takes a little bit of web work, which is something that I would gladly do. I always do it anyway.
Yeah, that's like you changing underwear when you do web work, dude. You do that fast.
Yeah, so
That's pretty spot
that is
on.
totally
Yeah.
crazy. That's a lot of code and crap.
yeah. So the John D says, over the past 25 years, I've raced about 50 races, owning 15,000 cars or more. None of them race digital, and you don't have to make it a digital race, global racetrack. It could be analog, because it's just time trials. It's exactly like the
Right.
Canadian Sport Compact Series. We're not door-to-door racing here. We're doing time trial. So it's really a time trial racing league, right? So you could race analog. We could all start with analog, which is actually cheaper to get into. Like buying a 132 set analog is a very cheap in relation to digital. Yeah, so it's not for everyone. I understand that, nor is F1, nor is IMSA, nor is everything else, like nor is NASCAR. Everyone's going to have the opportunity to either want to join the league or not join the league. But I wanted to make it easy to entry. That means, standardizing it. It makes it simple. When people go to buy the track, it's easy. Here's my global pot list. This is what I need. Boom. You don't have to think about it. And then you just follow whatever the league is developing, and tracks will change every 3 months or so. So that way you're not like stuck with the same track, and you're using the same pieces to create new track and do new time trials. And I would actually house all that information on a web portal, and it's just form submissions and live streams. And if you're interested in getting into YouTube, it's a great way to build content, just recording your live runs. It's one camera set up, and just make sure you yell out your time when you do it. And it's about trust, and it's about having fun at the end of the day. So that's my thing about the Global Racing League. So let us know in the chat what you guys think, and you guys can go ahead. I know Massimo, I've talked to you about it. Marty, I've talked to you about it. George, I think I've talked to you about it too. So you guys can chime in here and talk a little about it.
I think it starts.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, George.
No, go ahead. I was just saying it's a cool idea.
Yeah, well, I think that we've all talked about this before. It's like, man, how do we get on the same track and see how we do? And so this would be one way. We're not on the same track, but we're on the same layout. And the time trial thing is it's how I practice. That's it's really how you judge how well you tuned your car, and it's by its times. And So I think it would be cool. I think that you're limited to the layout size because you want it to be easy for people to enter. So I think that's a great idea. But small layouts, you
Yeah.
can have all the
So
parts
Sean
pretty
Casey has a
easily.
good thing, 4x8, and I was thinking about this too. And that was one thing that really where I stopped was what should be a good footprint size. I think everyone can put in a 4x8 track, to start, and I think the standard Carrera fits in a 4x8 layout. So 100%, I agree. Like 4x8, simple, very not a heavy investment. If somebody just wanted to get into slot cars and be part of this awesome community, it'd be a great way to enter. And analog, because analog is much more affordable, right? So I think that would be a great way to enter. But I would like to hear from more people, especially in the chat, what would be the drawbacks, because I believe the only way anything is successful is by understanding everyone's point of view. The more points of view you have, the better a picture you get, and the better you can come up with solutions. So, this is just a concept. But thank you, Sean.
Slot Journal says he's not sure that the concept would pass his wife test.
Yeah.
But again, you're making the entry point pretty easy for people. I mean, it's expensive for people who are Scalextrics or the Polycar or other brands. But if you already have a Carrera layout, you probably have all the pieces that you would need to make that small layout.
Yeah, so Sunday, your use of the 2 and 30 bank turn would not fly here, because we want to keep this track as simple as possible, and the ability to run it non-mag at some point as well, because I think you need to be able to run for both mag, non-mag, and have two distinctions in when we're running. So I think bank turns is something I would not really put into this global racing league at all. How would you do the timing on analog? Well, Smart Race. Smart Race is a great solution for this. It's very simple. There is a little bit of cost here, but like I said, this is a global racing league, so you're going to have your inventory of materials that you need, and Smart Race would be one of them. So I would run it on Smart Race for the timing. Oh, and you guys have any ideas?
It's an easy. Yeah, Smart Race is an easy setup. We did struggle with it a little bit over the weekend. It was miscounting laps, and I think it may have been just poor lighting on my track. Make some changes, but it does a good job.
Yeah,
and it's honestly inexpensive.
Yeah, and I think also looking for 10 laps around the track, and you get your best time and you put it up. And you can do as many heats as you want. Just record them, send them in to us. And you don't have to record them. Just record your session, and you send it in, and I'll break down the heats and put them up. As long as you are very audible with your timings, that's all I need. And just, the form will tell you what you need to do. We'll fill out, okay, this is this car, this make, this model, this, just get all your information on the form, and then just submit your link to your live video that you put up. So you have to have a YouTube channel, which is another thing, which is great for us. I mean, the subculture, the YouTube subculture for slot cars has grown so much, and I think the camaraderie has really come together. And this is a good way to just pull it even more, just bring us closer together as a subculture. So that's what I would do for timing.
I mean, I agree. If there is those odd people out there that really don't want to start a YouTube channel, I would encourage them to start one, but maybe they could even just record it and send in a video, because there might be those few out there that don't want to even bother starting a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult because to submit, the main thing is to submit a form with a big file, like a video file, will crash the web structure. So the reason why I say YouTube, I mean, if you don't want to do YouTube, you can make your video private and just submit the link to, right? So you don't have to have it, like, that's the cool thing about YouTube. You don't have to have everything public. You can just make a private link, but at least that way I can access that link. and then we can watch through it as a group. We would watch it. We'll both all the governing body would just say, okay, yeah, this timing is good. We approve it. Or if there's something that we need them to do better, we said that, please revise, please re-record, and just fix these things. Like, like any governing body, you'd have to have a governing body for the league. So,
would you base it off race time or like fastest lap, just like a qualifying kind of thing?
I think you could do both.
Yeah.
Total time, fastest lap. This way you get points for fastest lap. Because you run heats every week, so you get 1 week to complete your heat, and then you run another week, another heat, so you get like multiple heats over like a month. You're running 4 heats total. It's 4 weeks of running, 4 heats. We record everything, and then we award the points for that month, and then we go to the next track, the next run. It's what we used to do. A funny thing is, this is how I run my basement league. So, I'm very used to recording all the times. I used to do this on the web anyway for all my basement league stuff. So it's pretty much the same thing. It's just now we're doing it all together.
Yeah.
It's a grand scheme. So I'm not offended if anyone says this is a piece of shit too. Don't worry. I won't be offended at all.
Daryl Rogers is asking magnet or no non-magnet, so there goes the question there.
So that's good. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I would build a track to start with magnet. So I'm always thinking from this as a beginner. When we enter the hobby,
Right.
we all enter with mag cars. We all enter with standard cars. But over time, I think as we've done it for a couple of months, we should switch put everyone on the same track, same car, no magnets, and see how you run. I think, yes, it should run both. You should have mag, you should have non-mag, and, the car stock. Obviously, a lot of this is also built on trust. So, we would, that's something that is the X factor here. And I believe everyone in this community does this for the purity of the hobby. So, it's not something that there's no grand prize, there's no $1 million, so there's no reason for anyone to like cheat the system. So I'm hoping. So we do it through trust. A lot of this is trust and really seeing how do we really stack up against each other. I know me and Max, we go head to head. Like, I mean, it's like Friday, right? You ran the Audi and you gave me a benchmark, and then Saturday I went and I ran the same Audi and I said, can I get this benchmark? It's the same thing, same track, same situation. Everything's the same, right? There's no differences here. And it's fun. What did I do? I just made sure I ran the tires through the sanding machine a lot longer and got it nice and soft and ran it, right? That's what it is. But that's the fun of racing and learning how to tune. And this is how we learn from each other, right? Marty, you had like lots of races on the weekend. I bet you guys had lots of discussions on how you can make your cars faster, what you can do, and right then you applied that theory, right, and saw it happen.
Right.
I think this is the way to do it when we're all so spread out. I can't be in your basement, but this way I can technically be there. We can kind of be on the same track. How you taking that turn one and that bank? Is it throwing you off the same way it's throwing me off? Like MP, I remember, when we raced on Friday, when you gave me the Ferrari controller, you said, when you get to the infield, just hold a quarter, and it will stay on the track. Remember you said that to me? And I was like, I remember that when I was running the car, because I was like, yeah, I got to watch out. Infield's dangerous. But we wouldn't have this because we're all on separate tracks. We can't talk like this, right? There's that track culture that will come out of this, I feel. So,
Yeah. In the chat, Slot Journal mentioned like proxy racing, which is one way to do this. It's similar. Instead of building a track, you're sending cars off to other people and let them run them all on your track and then ship them off to the next track, right? So, I mean, there are
and that's already happening.
Yeah.
That already happens, and I think like there's a big proxy league. You can join that league, but This is different in that everyone's got a little track and got a little space. And like I said, it's not going to be for everyone. Some people can't fit an 8x4 in their space, and I totally understand that. But
that's small of a layout you could put on the floor.
Exactly.
To run your races.
Yeah.
And then pick it up at the end. Like that's not
it's
a big
easy
layout.
to put down, easy to pick up. So I think it's small enough that it makes it happen. But once again, there's gonna be lots of people that maybe just they can't do it. And I understand, but it's a way to pull us together. So I just find with proxy racing, it gets more expensive over time, especially if you live in Canada and you ship out and then you ship. Like, yeah, I'd rather buy the track and race it at home, have a handle on my car, and race against each other. It's just different. Like I said, everyone.
And no, Sunday, it's not like sharing your wife. You need to go on share a proxy racing. And you come up with some really good ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so that's the concept. Boone, come on, Boone. Boone's ready to do it. If Boone can do it, we can all do it.
On my track, you gotta put a tree on the track. I'm still gonna do that, Boone.
The happy trees.
Yeah.
The lonesome tree.
We could even do, I guess, YouTubers or even just like fans or whatever you want to call them. We could even submit tracks maybe, and we can choose. Okay, we'll run this track next, right, to make it fun.
100%. With the global inventory, you can design your track based on the inventory that we have. There's so many track planners, and we could run a contest for the best track design, and then we use that track design, and whoever did that track design maybe gets a little prize. I think that's also a cool way, to get people more interested. So maybe you're not racing, but you're designing tracks for us. And that's another way, that, like I said, there's so many layers to this hobby. If you don't want to run, you could build a car and send it to one of the YouTubers closest to you who's racing it and say, can you run my car on the track? And you definitely, that's another way you could participate in the league. You can team up together and build a track together if you're close together and participate in Global Racing League. All you're doing is recording each one's time separately and submitting it. So there's lots of ways that you can bring more people together without having to incur the expense all on your own as well. But once again, it's standardized. That's the main thing here, standardization. Because if you can't standardize something, you can't really bring people together at the same table. It gets difficult, right? And the slot car world isn't very unstandardized at the moment. By the way, I have talked about this with somebody from Poland, and I've talked about this with somebody from Germany as well. They're both subscribers to my channel, and both of them are very positive, have received this positively because it's something that they were also looking into at the same time. So there is interest from around the world as well. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Sean. You could have a number of races come to one track to participate, definitely. Like me and MP could do our runs together, same night. And that's additional validation, right? So. I'm experimenting with slot car shenanigans, like tractor pull with them. Slight incline track with just the right amount of weight being pulled. Yeah, there's so many differences.
Oh.
So if you grind down your tires 10%, you get 20% more magnet grip. So worn tires would win, definitely. Yeah, like I said, you could do that. But I'm thinking
closer to the rails.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, if you're going to those lands to kind of win here, it's not really the purpose of the global league. We're trying to keep it standard as possible. We will do like weight measure, weight. We'll put in some standards, obviously, as a group when we do build this out. So you have to be within certain parameters. I don't expect everyone to have a mag measure. So, we'll just do it by weight, make sure the car is a certain weight, stays within parameters. Make sure you're not running certain tires. We can figure it out. This is not by, there's no foolproof method. I mean, the F1 FIA is showing how how you can have the best of intentions and still get everything wrong. So, I think it's just a start. It develops over time. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my concept. Let me know what you guys think. Could run 124 too with Carrera track, so 125 too. So George, we could do scratch building. Give us an excuse to run scratch build cars.
Yeah, I've
So
wanted
George,
go ahead. You were saying.
I was just going to ask the question. So, are you going to host a proxy now that you got your track?
Frank asked me that before he left. I thought about it. Right now, I want to kind of get the whole track laid out. The thing that I like about the scratch building is that, so this is how Home Racing World does. So if you want to enter a car and you really don't have the scratch building down yet, that's why he offers the H&R chassis for 125th cars. So this way you could concentrate on the modeling aspect, because when you listen to him, he always talks about, and this is everything he uses all the time in those proxies, it's all about the modeling. If you can model a badass car that looks fantastic, that'll knock his socks out. And it could be on an H&R chassis, doesn't matter, or a scratch build. That's why he gives that option, so people maybe still gun shy with soldering, they don't have to. They just fit the body on the H&R chassis, and it's just that's a ready to run chassis. But that's what I like about the showdowns and stuff, because it's the modeling part where you get to create your own paint scheme, or like we're doing the hot rods is the one I'm really looking forward to, because I want to see how everybody has their idea of how they're going to build a hot rod. Like, look at Danny Wiley, he's making one with a Cummins engine in that looks pretty cool. Never would have thought of that. And then there's other people that may put lights, may put little flames on the side of it, on the pipes. There's just different ideas that you could do to make it look cool. And that's what I like about scratch building, is that you can make it your own unique way, and model it really nicely. And the option, again, like I said, you don't have to build a chassis. You could throw it on an H&R chassis, if it's a 125th scale, 124 scale thing. Yeah, I thought about it, but for now I'm going to hold off. Because running proxy are not easy. When I went to the shootout for Labor Day, it's a lot of work with one person. So you have to gather all the cars. You have to open them up, make sure everybody's stuff is in order to send it back. You have to run the cars and test them to make sure that, maybe something happened during shipping, or the car, spins a gear, or a wheel comes off and something's wrong with the grub screw. So those things you have to kind of iron out, and it's a lot of work. So that's why it's really, to do video and doing that, it's a lot of time consuming things to do. So that's why it's good to have extra hands when you're doing that kind of stuff, because doing it by yourself, it's a lot of work. So I would say the global racing thing is nice, because you don't have to deal with that, because you deal with your own to take, run your car and gather all the times that way. But proxy stuff it's very time consuming. You could go on Home Racing World, and there's several proxies all over the place. From different, they send them off to Canada, wherever, and people do that stuff. But it's a lot of work. It's not too easy of a thing to do. And then you have to deal with, staying within the rules, because somebody may send the car and it's not really, sometimes they don't understand the rules, or they just don't read them, or they just think that it's okay to let it go by. And that's what you have to deal with if you have to tell the person, hey, I can't run the car because this is not the way we wanted it. And it's, that could get a little hairy with people. They don't, react well you deal with different personalities and stuff. So that's another aspect of proxy stuff. It takes a lot to deal. You gotta have a lot of patience to deal with people in general, because say you make a class from a certain year and stuff, and still they insist on putting like some other different year, and when you told them no, you have to stay within this year, this is why we made the rules, so you could understand it. So you could write it out, do a video, and you always get somebody who want to do something different where it doesn't fall within the rules, and you have to deal with that. And you have to be real diplomatic, too. You can't be a jerk, because you don't want to but you want to be don't want to push people away too, or give them a bad taste. So but proxies are a lot of work. Yeah, I'd probably do them, but not just yet. But I like the global racing thing. I think that's a great concept, because you just deal with your own stuff, and you just send in the video and log it in.
Yeah. Well, I think it's easier. I think you're not handling other people's cars. You're basically, it's just like just having your own home track, and then you're part of this environment where you can actually compete. And yeah, I thought it would be a way to just do some sort of global timing. Yeah. And like I said, here, Dick Slotkogar says, I like the idea. It definitely suits people like me that haven't bought a track yet. It might entice people to buy a track as well. And if our goal is to increase the reach of this hobby, we need to make it so that people can enter it. I think the community is what makes this hobby grow. And being part of the community is what keeps me motivated, to be honest. I mean, after a while, like I said in my last video, I think the video, I said, I'm getting tired of reviewing cars. They're fun, but cars are cars. Like, they over a period of time, they become the same thing over and over. And yeah, I can shoot cars, and maybe with the new track I might have more options to shoot different camera angles, but I'm pretty limited on the camera angles I can shoot on my DDT track. So that was another reason to expand the track or change the track up. After you shoot 100 cars and you review 100 cars, it gets a little bit tough to keep on reviewing them, especially when you don't know what else to say. Sometimes you're like, oh, what did I say about this car? It's cool livery, but I got another livery of it, and so it's another way of getting. And the whole reason I stay in this hobby, or stay doing YouTube for this hobby, is because of you guys, the community, right? And expanding that hobby sense and having the community drive you forward. So when Marty picks up a 962, I'm motivated to go get another 962 to see, and especially if I was racing against Marty, it would be awesome to compare notes. If we're both racing a 962, it'd be nice, right? That's why I said, it just brings us together. The concept here is not to compete, really. It's to bring us together to talk about something on a global platform that is standardized, where we can talk about the same thing and really share tech and ideas, right? You want help to go non-mag? It's great if you're part of this league, because you get to test your time against someone who's really good at non-mag racing, and maybe you learn a thing or two, right? It's what happened when I go to Ernie's. If I don't talk to Stevio or I don't talk to Chris, I don't become better at non-mag racing, right, Mass? I mean, we got so much knowledge because we just go to a place where everyone exists and is running on the same track, right? So, yeah. Gene, you're in? Great. Awesome. It seems like I'm running a lot of these "Are you in" polls. I sent one out on Saturday morning asking all you guys, are you guys in? And now again, I'm asking, are you guys in? I think I'm bringing all these polls together,
You see Sean Casey's comment here. He goes, Moss has taught us that a 1969 Dodge Chargers are the fastest car to choose to race, not Ferraris.
That's right.
Oh, this Ferrari back here.
Asher University. So Asher,
That Charger carried Team USA, man. It carried
Yeah.
Team USA.
That thing was a beast.
all right.
Totally
It is
unexpected.
fast.
So Asher, this is yeah. So Asher says, but you decided to go big at home. Okay, so let me explain to
Bigger
you
home.
why I'm going big at my house. It wasn't my intention. My intention was never to go big. I had my DDT track. It was built on this global racing league concept. Basically, it was everything you get out of the starter box was used to create my DDT track. Nothing on my DDT track is anything but what you get in the starter box. So it's all it's all R1s and straights. So my DDT. But when I decided to change the DDT track, I wasn't intending to go big, but I was building a Lego city in another portion of my basement at the same time, which was also a huge track. And I was like, is there a way that I can combine the two of these together? And I struggled with it in the beginning because I was like, I want to keep them separate. It'd be kind of cool to pull them together. And then when I went to Dave's and I raced that 124 night and I saw how big his track was, and I was like, I can actually do this in my basement. I can actually put a track that's this big, and I wanted to try. And then on top of that, I'm a big hobbyist. So slot cars is not my only hobby. I come from wargaming, and I have a ton of wargaming models and terrain that I have. So when I started to put together this idea of this monster, Boone was in my ear and saying, make it different. Let's try and bring in, because Lego is trying to bring in people that are not in slot car world. And I'm bringing them in through Lego to see the slot cars. And then Boone was like, make it different and see if you can bring the wargaming guys in. So the idea and the concept of my big track is to bring the wargaming into my world of stock car racing. So there's a thing that we do in wargaming called Apocalypse. It's wargaming on a very, very large scale. So a 20 by 8 foot table actually fits an Apocalypse battle. And that's the whole reason to build this huge table. It's trying to bring in the wargaming world, which is very big, very established. And the funny thing was, I actually had a meeting last night with about 10 of my wargaming friends. And I presented to them this idea of building this huge wargaming display with the slot car track. And every one of them was on board. So I have 10 people helping me build the terrain for this monster. So it's not just me, it's a whole group effort. And everybody wants to play Apocalypse on this table once it's set up. So the cool thing is that the terrain will change pretty much every couple of months because there's new armies and things that will be played on this table with this lockout track running through it. So the concept of going big isn't to build a big racetrack, it's more to build a big display or diorama. So understand that that's why the concept has come to light. Yeah. I hope that explains why I'm going big.
You get the wow factor is what you're looking at, because when somebody walks in and sees that, they're going to go, whoa, because they see all the modeling around the whole track. That's what's going to make it cool.
Yeah, like
attention.
One of the Titans, so they have Titans, it's 23 inches tall, just the Titan, like one of the models. So it's really cool. You get this really like, so when we war game, it's 28 millimeter scale models, but the Titans are like 23 inches. So imagine the scale, right? So you got these monsters walking on this battlefield as well. So it's going to be really cool, epic, different. So yeah, the track that I'm building is completely different from a regular racetrack.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be totally different.
Yeah, just it's a wild concept. And then, I mean, it's got the Lego side to it too. So the track flies over the Lego city as well. So it's ambitious, very ambitious.
There's so many
yeah.
layers But like from when you explained it to me, it sounds like it's gonna be crazy. Can't wait.
DK Moon, it is Necrons versus the Imperial. That's is the display. I think I have probably around 500 models going on this table, so it's gonna be huge. Yeah, and they're all painted. They're all individually painted. Everything's done. Like the terrain is fully painted. It's all GW terrain. It's a big project, and I have 4 Titans in bunkers. So, yeah, it's crazy. I'm building half pyramid monoliths as the portals between the Lego City and the Warhammer world. It's an insane. But I got everyone pitched in ideas as to how we could do this, what we're going to be doing, what steps we're going to be taking. So the plan is already in motion. It's a 6 to 8 month build, so it's no joke. It's a lot of work, but we're all ready to go. So,
the one thing, Raul, I think I mentioned to you about the Lego City is the ceiling from a YouTube standpoint is much higher than just like the slot car channel. And I have a friend of mine who has a Lego channel. He does a live stream every week, kind of a talk show, and they discuss Lego. And that channel's growing like crazy because the ceiling's so high. So I imagine you bringing that in to wargaming has a similar ceiling, just much higher than slot cars.
Yeah, so the Lego City was my daughter's concept, and she has been super excited building. And now she doesn't do the building for the Lego City. It's so weird. She does a micro city. So I'm actually building a HO track for her city because she's doing micro blocks. I don't know if you've ever seen micro blocks, but the buildings are the size of Coke cans, right? And they're full buildings, but they're the size of Coke cans. And so I bought an AFX 1/64th scale track. And we're building this side. Like I'm hanging the HO track like a poster on the wall. So it's an 8-foot by 4-foot poster that hangs on the wall, but her micro cities buildings go onto that layout, so it's almost like a 3D picture with a slot car track in it. So that's a completely separate build, but it's the same concept as the Lego City, but that's more for decoration because they look very cartoon like. But yeah. Patrick, yeah, it's going to be a long build though. But I will take you through every step. We've started with the tables. All the tables are ready. We're just clearing up the basement, moving my studio where I record the Lego onto a different side of the basement and opening up the area for the tables to be laid out. Once the tables are laid out, I start recording weekly or every bi-weekly probably progress on what's going on. The first thing that we will do is put down the track so that we have an understanding. It's going to be a 3-layer track, so the track will go up 3 layers. The highest layer being at 24 inches, which is the top of the Titan bunker. At the top of the Titan bunker, there's going to be clear acrylic where we actually have real world racetrack scenery because I bought 250 models from UK that's for real racetrack. So we're going to have the pit lanes and the gantry at that level, and then you drop into this underground world where it's just war. So it's like a journey through all my hobbies. So as you come off that real world and you drop into this world and you go across into the Lego City and then come back around and you go into the Titan bunkers, the airfield. So we have a lot of like aircraft that'll be like prepping for war. There's a combat zone. There's the enemy advanced zone. Yeah, it's all designed. It's all laid out. But we have to lay out the track first and then bring it up by levels. Once we do that, and then we'll carve in all the pink foam to get all the terrain. We'll build in all the bunker walls. Everything is here. All the walls, all the terrain is already here. We're in the process of assembling right now. So over the period, I think the painting will be the biggest part. We're doing it in sections. But we've done wargaming tables for the past 15 years of my life, so I'm very confident with what I'm going to be doing with the tables. Yeah.
Oh.
Gene, Raul, is there a hobby you're not into? I don't know. I take deep dives. I know Massimo's been in my house, and it's not like I say. Massimo's house is all pretty. Like I go in, I'm like, oh, I wish I had this, because his house is like unbelievable. Massimo's basement, crazy, but mine is more like a workshop, right, Mass? I mean, mine is like just wires and cables and.
There's literally everything, though. Every hobby you can think of is down there, which is just, I think that's more cool than my basement. So
Yeah. Is what I built was like a workshop, really. It's just where all my friends gather and we we have archery. I have an archery because one of my friends shoots 3D, has a 3D archery course, just like golf but in the forest. So we have like we used to shoot. I used to shoot arrows in my basement, like targeted. So we have like that stuff going on. We've done everything. My basement is like a big workshop where we just go nuts. That's basically what it is. I have to put down a mini Z track now because we have to get into mini Z. So my friends are like, "Oh, we gotta pull out the mini Z track from underneath the slot car track and lay it down again so we can test our mini Z's." So
funny that you mentioned that, because after that night, I was online looking at minis.
yeah, that's the thing, right? Once you have a community and you're around like-minded people, I have to pull out my buggy. I have my 1/10 buggy from when I used to race for Tamiya. So I have to pull that out because we have to go walk our RC soon. So I got to prep that and get it ready to go. I have a 1 horsepower truck that has been sitting there. It's gas. I have to pull that out and start working on that. So yeah, once you get into a community, it's crazy, right? And that's basically what's motivating me here. And then I had nothing to do with these. I have all these models that I use for wargaming. What was I gonna do with them? I was planning to get rid of them. My friends were like, "Nah, build this display. You've always wanted one, so build it." So here we are. Tried to build this, and Boone was a big, planting seeds. You know who planted all the seeds? Boone. Boone's been planting these seeds since I started talking to him. So he's like, "We need this. You got to do this." So I was like, "All right."
Yeah, he said he's pumped to see the layout.
Oh, we talk. I mean, Boone is so great. I'll throw an idea out. Actually, when I first came up with this idea, I ran it by him first. I was like, "Listen, am I crazy? Tell me I'm crazy. Please tell me I'm crazy." And he's like, "No, this is so cool." And then, like last week, he's like, "How high are you making this? You need to make this epic. So you need to make it tall and big." I'm like, "That's 23 inches off the ground, off the tabletop work because that's the size of the Titan." It's like, "That's epic." So I was like, "Okay, we'll do that."
It epics.
Yeah. So, like I said, the community really like motivates me to do this kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, and I hope we're doing the same for you guys. I mean, everybody that watches this channel, every week we do bring up some topics that are a little bit wacky, but. I'm a person, once I get something in my head, I just go do it. I don't really get sidetracked. So, yeah. What is this? Marty, I seem to remember it's a 4-square.
Yeah, we were talking about Legos and stepping them in the dark.
John Albert said his dad, his pop stepped on one and all the screaming explicitives late at night. Those things do hurt when you step on them.
Oh, yeah.
God, they hurt like hell.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, no. Haven't stepped on a Lego piece yet, guys, so thank you very much. Yeah.
Soon.
No.
Yeah, you'll step on them.
No. Everything's in its place.
Everything's
We're very strict cleanup procedures after. And yeah, the amount of Lego you collect when you're doing this is insane. So everything has its own bins. The unsorting bin is where it starts to grow, and then that's a whole other discussion on its own, cleaning up or sorting out. But yeah. Yes, Boone Boone's like George, constantly needling you. George needles you about building custom cars, and Boone needles you about building scenery.
Or custom tracks.
Custom tracks, that's right. Yeah. But he's, he's so exciting. When you talk to Boone, you're like pumped. Right after you finish talking to him, you're like, oh, I got to go build now. I got to go into my basement. Because he's always in his track. It's crazy. So it's a lot of fun.
Relocate here.
Yeah, Massimo's relocating.
My phone was about to die, so I had to plug it in.
You're still on your phone? I made you buy a brand new camera. You don't even use it.
I gotta buy the wires to connect it.
George has the same camera, the ZV-1. George, explain to Massimo the benefits of the ZV-1. Come on.
Oh, there it is.
George isn't using
That's
this either.
Mike. I'm not using it. It's good actually.
I could
for
go get
video,
mine too.
and
I can show you
I
mine
like
too.
the little handle you could get to vlog, so you could
Oh, nice.
move about. It's a good camera. It was worth the money. Yeah. I have mine on a payment plan, so I haven't paid it off yet, but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's a good webcam too. If you use it as a webcam, you won't have a lot of that what you have right now because your phone is trying to keep up. Where it's the stuttering. That camera won't do that when you have it wired in. It's real good.
Yeah.
I gotta buy the wires. Raul sent me the links. I just have to. I've been procrastinating.
Yeah,
The
You've been
USB
buying
flash
block
drives,
cards instead.
HDMI and USB stuff. I gotta get all that stuff.
You can only take the horse to water. That's it. I cannot make you drink.
I know. It's my fault.
I told him, bring your camera next time you come. Okay. We never used it. This time when you come, we're going to record the next video together. You're going to bring your camera and you're going to record all of it on camera. But he's so good at his phone. Did you see that video he posted about the commercial track? He did that at the track venue on his phone. I was like, this guy just puts me to shame. His camera movement capturing track is really good. Mass, you got skills there. Yeah, I have to develop those. That's why you're that's why the goat.
No.
Yeah, we were sitting after we finished track, and I was like, it's surreal. I remember the first time I went to Ernie's track, and I was like excited. I saw Massimo there. I was like, oh, there's Massimo. I was like, I wonder if he'll even say hi to us. Do you remember we talked about this on Friday? I
remember seeing you there because I remember you messaged me on I think it was Instagram.
Yeah.
That, I'm gonna be with Ernie's. Are you gonna be there? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be videotaping the race. And you're like, okay, I might stop by. So I remember seeing you upstairs at the wood track, and you waving.
Yeah.
And waved back. And then you disappeared. I guess you went back downstairs. But I remember after meeting you, I remember that was you that came that day.
Yeah, it was funny because we were like, we were in awe because when I had started my YouTube journey, Massimo was like one of the big guys. Like Travis was the first YouTuber to reach out to me, and he was really cool. And I got the call from Instagram. I was like, holy shit, this guy called me, and I was like, I was super excited. I was like, oh, these guys are, and then I was watching Massimo all the time. So, and I knew he went to Scale Racing Center, so I decided to go there. And then when I got there and he was there, I was like, oh man, there's Massimo. And I waved at him and he waved back, and we were like those stupid groupies. Oh, he waved at me, And then I went down. I was like,
our YouTube star.
Yeah, I know. And then on Friday, he's just sitting there right next to me, and we're chatting away. And I said, you know how surreal this is? I mean, so a year ago, you were like untouchable, and now you're sitting right here, and we're having like this conversation. We're joking around. It's surreal, but that's what happens when you put your head down and just go for it.
That goes back to Marty's video, and the community and meeting everyone. That's been the biggest gift of this hobby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure,
Yeah.
man.
No, it's crazy because I was literally, he was a celebrity, you know, in my head. I was like, I never meet this guy. This guy's way out of my league. And then, like I said, on Friday there, he was crawling up on my track and putting the barriers on. I was like, and for a moment there, I just stopped and I was like, is this happening? I'm like, you know, a year ago, this guy was like, you know, I was like, but it's true. It's crazy. If you put, and this is what it boils down to. If you put your mind to it, like when I started YouTube, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea whether I would make an impact in this hobby. But all I said was, I'm gonna do 100 videos, and hopefully I can get to 1,000 subscribers. That was my start. 100 videos, 1,000 subscribers. That's all I wanted. It was a proof of concept. It was a way for me to experiment with videography and photography, which I had just picked up. Slot cars wasn't something I was planning to become, you know, that involved in the community. It was just like a means to an end. Capture cars at high speed, which is what I wanted to do, and do it on YouTube. And then, you know, then the community got a hold of me, and now it's about the community. But it's simple things, setting goals and just keeping at them. I think many of us just drop off, or we feel like we can't accomplish it. But if we do, you can do great things. And, you know, I haven't got the 1,000 subscribers, but it didn't matter. To me, what matters is like the community now, you know. So yeah, that's a testament to that, for sure. Raul is one of you. Now, no, I can't learn to race. I'm useless at racing. I'd love to say I could, but no. I'm not a YouTube god by no means. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of people out there to create crazy good content. Outside of, you know, our community is a very small community, even on the YouTube standards. There you go, George. Now that's a proper camera. Yeah, look at that. Look at the lighting. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the FaceTime.
It's all right. I don't know. That's nothing crazy.
It's really super clear. It's a great camera.
It looks grainy to me.
Yeah.
It's good for doing videos too. If you do videos like for your because I've done a few on this one. This one works good. But the thing is, the iPhone just you get lazy. It's not saying that you're lazy, Mark.
So easy.
No, but it's just easier to just. It's just easier to just grab the camera, you know, and I do it too. Like I did the videos with the wiring of the wood track, and I use my iPhone. You know, it's like I didn't even use the CV1. I use my iPhone. So I mean, I can see why we're all saying, you know, you got that camera, you don't use it.
Well, it's funny because I can't use my iPhone. I hate, like, it's so weird. Like, it's complete opposite for me. Like, when Massimo was shooting on Friday with his iPhone, I was like, let me try this iPhone thing. And I looked at my footage after. I was like, this is terrible. I'm never going to use this iPhone. You get used to looking at certain, like, in a certain viewfinder or whatever. And for me, I need my cameras. I see it. I see the vision in my camera. I can't see it in the iPhone. When I pull up the iPhone, I'm like, it's just, you know, it's just weird. I can't adjust dials. I can't see things. So, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. George, I like that shirt. I'm going to make you one with the new alien head.
I got this from, I forget what it was, this t-shirt place. So they had this little head, and then they had this. So this is theirs. And I put that on, and then they had the little spaceship, and I did that, and then the front with the big alien, and then when I wrote
so I'll do the same shirt.
Was like about $45, so not cheap,
I'll do the same shirt for you with the new skull head, and then I'll put one logo on either side, so you have the two new logos. I'll do that for you. Send it over.
Yeah, that'd be cool to do that. But like I said, I'm looking forward to the decals and all that stuff, man. I can't wait to get them. So
Yeah, I'm waiting on this shadow. I'll be honest, because I want to ship out all the packages at once. So I'm waiting on this shadow to arrive. Because yeah,
that should be
Massimo.
shipping this week, this end of this week, shouldn't it, or next week? It's kind of thought it would have shipped already, but
Yeah, China's
Well, I would say
has
that.
been
Go ahead, Massimo.
no, there's been issues with when I spoke to Ernie today. He was saying it's any day now. There's still like a little bit of a delay with China, but he's like it's gonna basically what he said today was the next flight out. Basically, is gonna try getting it out there. It's been delayed after delay after delay.
Yeah, the last time I spoke to him was because the spoilers were falling off. He had to build a clamshell to protect the spoilers, and because the spoilers were breaking and shipping. So there's been a few like packaging concerns. It's not from a car perspective, just a packaging perspective. So yeah, but it will come.
yeah, I get a wood track right now. I want to try it on a wood track. Looking forward to that.
Massimo, you gotta unbox your new camera, according to Eric Wildman.
Yes,
it's a camera. Actually, I went and tried some of these cars upstairs, that I have here for the plastic track, and they run extremely well on that track upstairs. I put the Thunder slot on there. That thing's like whips around that thing like nothing. And once you clean up the tires, and a lot of these cars I've been taking up there, they work really good. I mean, really good. I was thinking maybe I had to adjust something here and there, but no, they just got on there and boom, they buck. They haul the mail here and up there, so that's kind of cool. I didn't have to do much. I like that.
Okay,
So
Daryl has a question.
Translated well.
Yeah. Okay, Daryl, I'm gonna answer your question right now. So, do we send money and sizes to roll for shirt orders? So what's happening, Daryl, is I'm launching an e-commerce shop by the end of this week. It's called Conquest Lair. We have come together as the YouTubers. So there's 5 YouTubers that have come together, 6 including myself. We've joined forces. We're going to be releasing apparel, hats, stickers, whatever you want. Every time someone buys something, a small portion will go to all the YouTubers part of this. What do we call it? What did you call it the other day?
Massimo called us the Avengers.
The Avengers, yeah. So this Avengers group of YouTubers, we'll be putting up like shirt designs, and they're limited runs, 50 of each. So if you buy the shirt, all of us YouTubers benefit. If you buy the sticker pack, all of us YouTubers benefit. Everything will be bought and sold online. We shipped and fulfilled from my print shop. I'm keeping everything really good and cost effective, but really want to help every one of us that's trying to create content. So that's the plan. So if you guys, we'll split the pot exactly. It's equal shares. It's nothing major. It's just something small, and we're just trying to do it together. So if you have any questions or you need more clarifications, I will make it as clear as possible on the website. If you're a YouTuber and you want to be part of it, let us know. We'll go from there. But right now, it's just the YouTubers I've designed brands for. So all the logos that I've done: Shotgun Dave, Danny Wiley, Marty, George, Massimo, and myself. So that's 6 of us, and we're putting together this e-commerce. And,
I have a better name because Dave got it close. I'd say Slot Vengers.
Slot Vengers. Okay.
Too funny.
Yeah, I can make a Slot Vengers vendor group.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all fun.
Now.
Wow. Anyway, the beauty about being able to
I like it.
The beauty about being a web developer is you can do lots of crazy stuff. So I'm excited just to do crazy stuff. But we'll figure it out.
Did we lose Moss? I don't see him there. I think we lost
Yeah, I
him.
think his battery finally died.
Or maybe he went to get his new
Maybe
camera.
he's switching his camera to the ZV-1.
Yeah.
This has been good, guys. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
Lot of fun,
that's
man.
been an awesome live stream. I wanted to thank everyone for once again, subscribing to my channel. I got to 750. I put this
Cool.
giveaway up today. So follow the rules, and hopefully you'll get a Di Tommaso Pantera. That's the car. And like I said, this car is touched by greatness, because this is actually Massimo's car that I got off a Whatnot stream. I haven't even opened this car up. It has not been touched by me. It's only been touched by Massimo. So you're getting a bit of history here. So take it. That's the car that's being given away. We will be doing the giveaway on May 1st on the live stream here, right here, like I did last time. We use software to do it, so it'll be all done live. And yeah, we'll go from there.
Daryl says, I can see you all in capes and masks holding controllers.
All right.
Like Mr. Carrera. He's in the cape with the controller head.
Yeah. Well, we'll try not to make it too cheesy. Anyway, it's just trying to do things together. Yeah, he has mask. Maybe he got his new camera.
He back? Oh, there he is. Oh, went to your
No,
website.
he didn't switch his camera. It's still grainy.
I don't have the connection for it.
Doesn't it come with a cable? I think his mine came with a cable. You can stick it on a USB port.
Raul was saying I need to get like some, what was it, the HDMI to
No, that's if
USB.
you do the HDMI. You can actually stick it right in and use USB to do the webcam. It's just
you're right. Hold on a
720p.
sec. Well,
Ah,
this is what I'm using to go into my Mac, and it's a USB. So I mean, it's
okay.
just
Yeah,
an
that's
extension cable. That's just what comes with the camera. So I'm surprised that you can't just plug it in.
Yeah, well, I haven't tried. I just, I'm an idiot.
No, you know.
Don't say that.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
gosh.
Massimo being Massimo, the best. I'm an idiot. No, you're not. Yeah. Anyway, we'll sort you out. Next time you'll be on live stream with me.
You're
You'll
not
be over the
savvy
camera.
user yet.
Yeah. Next live stream, I will be using the camera.
Okay, excellent.
That'll work.
That's a good.
Fantastic.
That's good.
That will be an unboxing, Dusty, a USB cable.
This week on MP slot.
Yeah. So all the
Unboxing
guys
USB.
made fun of me, and here I am unboxing my
I'll do
new
a short.
camera.
I'll do a YouTube short for you guys unboxing the camera.
As long as you can.
It's a good camera.
All right, so this is the deal. We talked about this Global Racing League. I'm going to put up a form on my website. If you're interested and you want to be part of it, I suggest you go there and fill it out. State your intent, and then we'll take it from there. And let's just say we get, what should we do? 10 people sign up for it. We'll start this Global Racing League. How about that? Yes?
That sounds good.
Yeah,
like
so let's put some smart goals to this. So yeah, we'll do that. I'll put up a form. I'll put it up later this week. I have a lot of coding to do. I keep on adding more coding. This is terrible. Anyway, yeah, so I'll get that done. I'll put it up and we'll go from there. And then Robert Hill says, okay, who got some new cars? My brother and I got slotted GT3 Maserati and I set it up for him. Badass. Nice.
Actually, we should discuss this now. What will be next week's topic?
We always come up with this.
At the last minute.
Yeah, so
Awesome
I
as
had
the camera.
to camera or not to camera. That is the question. No, I
ask
don't
people
know.
from the chat. Anybody from the chat? Any of you guys on a subject you want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet? That's a good time to chime in.
Yeah, let us know. I think we have a topic that I wanted to talk about was part 2 to the behind the lens, because we did the first part, which is getting on YouTube, but part 2, which is how to develop content, how to storyboard, stuff like that. That's one idea I had. But you know, I'm open to anything. I actually had there's a bunch of scratch building questions I'm going to send George's way. So maybe if we can answer those, we can come up with some
You want
more
to ask me a
topics.
few of them now? You can. I mean,
I'm trying to find images because it's with building this new type of track, I need to take plastic model kits from the wargaming world and convert them into slot car tracks or cars. And they are weird and different, and they have plastic wheels. So how do we convert that? How do I mold new wheels, tires, all that kind of stuff? Because that's gonna have to happen. And
does
they're
the kit
weird.
come with wheel inserts? That you're the kit in question.
It comes
Do
with
they have-
plastic. So
but the
it's
wheels like little wheels and stuff,
yeah,
right?
it's like a proper. Let me see if I can find. Let me find.
Because what you can do is trim those down and use CV design wheels that are deep inserts, and you could stick them in there. That's how a lot of times I'll do certain cars when it has like a particular wheel I want to use in the model kit. Like right now, well, in the future, I'm going to be building the Batman car, Michael Keaton one, the one from '89 or '89. So I got that model kit, and I want to use those inserts. So
Yeah, so let me show you an example of the car here. Let me see. Let me just switch. I'm gonna switch my. So this is the car. This is what I need to. One of the models I need to work on
a
here.
6-wheeler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be. You can make like a dump. One will be the drive axle, which would be the closest to the front, and the other one could be like a trailing wheel. Yeah, that's possible. I mean, what you would do is just you could use those wheel inserts. If those are wheel inserts, you could trim them and fit them in a wheel, and then use a Paul Gage makes a pretty thick wheel, and you could kind of round them out too when you true them to make it look like that. And then mounting the body, depending how you build the chassis part, or if you build pans, you'd have to look at the model itself in question too. That's possible. I don't see it being not possible. That'd be kind of a cool slot car to come to build something like that. That's very possible.
Yeah. So
And
it's I'll show you some of the other stuff.
Is it real short wheelbase or is it pretty long? What scale is that again? 125th?
120, 28 millimeters. So like these are the other cars, like that belong to this kind of series thing.
So 28 millimeters in scale would be what? Because I'm lost on that one. I'm not good with millimeters. That'd be
It's close to 1/32. So like this is
132nd. Okay.
yeah. So this is like, look at this this kind of hot rod. So it's like a rat rod, but it's like all apocalyptic kind of stuff.
Yeah, Dave would have some good insights on that as well. Besides myself.
Yeah,
That's
I was gonna.
That's a possible. That'd be not too hard to do that one. That's kind of cool. And if it comes
Yeah.
with the motor and everything in the grill,
That's
that'd be
exactly
cool.
the kit is like this. So if you notice, it's exactly like what you're seeing. There's hand painted kits from plastic. So
Yeah, I don't see that being a big deal to make.
yeah, so stuff like this, I want to convert them into slot cars so I can actually run the camera right off of these cars.
Right.
They won't be the cars that I would race with, but they're more for like camera cars and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about this. This is something that I would do after I finish the table and then start working on like custom cars for the table. So just kind of bring in the theme. But yeah. These are all the things that I've been thinking about and working on. But they have some pretty
Those
cool
are cool
cars.
looking.
Like this Formula One. Hey, Mass, you like this Formula One car?
That's cool, yeah.
The
So
hot
yeah.
rod one is cool too.
Yeah, there's awesome. Like it's awesome. Like the world. This is all from wargaming. So
See, Dave
these
right
cars.
there says if it comes with the tires, you can make a mold and cast them in urethane. So yeah, good point. See, Dave can way to cast those tires.
Yeah.
If you cast them and then make urethanes out of them.
Yeah, I was watching Dave's urethane tire casting, so I kind of
I'm
got
gonna
the
be
insights.
soon, not yet, but soon. I'm going to be getting into that as well, which is casting your bodies and stuff.
Yeah, Slot Journey, you're right. They're close to 143rd, but they're bigger than 143rd. So it will be a custom chassis setup for sure. But I do want to build like these cars for the new racetrack. So, but this is once again, this is after the table is complete. It wouldn't be happening right away. But yeah, that's what I was looking at. Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, the table is getting its life of its own. There's so much stuff to do. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, so anyway, next week, I don't know what the topic is, but if you guys got any ideas, let me know in the comments. We'll come up with something. I was like having a topic. Yeah, Shotgun Dave. I knew you'd like it. I knew you'd like them.
Rat fin cars, yep.
Yeah, they're really cool.
You've seen rat fin cars, right, bro?
I have not. Oh no! Okay, yeah. No, Shotgun Dave showed them to me because when I was developing his logo, when I was running his logo, I actually did some research on those cars when I designed the logo for him. Sunday Slot Cars always has a simple solution. Just hold the car above the fire for a bit and call it Mad Max. I was like, yeah, no problems. Yeah, I was also looking at the Carrera race trucks, taking one of those and converting it to apocalyptic trucks.
Yeah, like Mad Max. Too. That's very possible.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so wonder what the bodies weigh. I will measure them. I'm actually building the kits now, so I'll have a clear idea of what the kits look like and how they come together. Yeah, I also have a lot of tanks and stuff, so there's a lot of like custom vehicles for this world that we're developing. Lots of flyers. So
Ian's got a question for me. What's it say? I have a question for George. I plan on molding a scale electric Cougar. Want to scratch build the chassis for it. How do you attach the body to the chassis using the body screws? Use a brass, I forget the size of it. Use little brass plates and you solder them to the chassis and then you put holes in them and then you use wood, believe it or not, or plastistrut, and you glue them to the sides of the body on the inside, and then when they're glued is when you set it on there. There's different ways to mount it. You could use the existing posts and make little wires that come out and make little plates to attach them to the posts. There's different ways you could do it. Probably the simplest one would be the brass plates on the side. If you look at some of the videos I have on my channel, I show that on there, how to mount bodies on the earlier videos that I've done. It's not too hard to do, especially with a scale electric Cougar. I think you'd be in pretty good shape with that one.
Cool. All right. Well, gentlemen, it's been a slice. Thank you so much once again. Marty, you have your stream tomorrow night. So we'll see you.
8 o'clock.
We'll see you then. Mass, I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you everyone for jumping on. George, Marty, Mass, great to have you guys on board. We'll catch up again next week, and yeah, have fun on Rails, guys. Take care. Bye.
See you guys. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.